What's the strangest conversation you've accidentally eavesdropped on? Black family in the Christmas decorations aisle. 3-year-old. Dad, can we get a white man for Christmas? Shocked dad. What? 3-year-old. A white man. Points at shelf. Shocked dad. Looks where son is pointing. And laughs no son. That's called a snowman. How the turns have tabled. How the turntables. I've told this before, but whatever. 2 of my students were talking about this guy texting one of the girls, saying they think he's texting her to get to her friend who recently got her phone taken away. I chalk it up to middle school drama. Day goes on. Later I hear the girl who had her phone taken away say, I think I'm scarred. And something didn't sit right with me about it. I circled back and was like, hey kid, need to talk to me about anything? She mulled out over for a bit and asked for a private convo. Turns out this guy had sent a third girl a pic, and oh yeah, he's not a guy their age, it's their teacher for an out of school extracurricular. That was not a fun day. Good on you for listening and reporting. Glad you were the trusted adult. Yeah, I didn't quite get that at first, that I was a trusted adult. The parents kept thanking me all year with gift cards and stuff and I didn't understand why. So the last day, when I received another one, $50 to Target, I finally asked about it. I was like, the kid told me she should be rewarded, not me. Her mom said that's the point. She told you. She didn't tell the principal. She didn't tell her advisor. She didn't tell me. She told you. That's why. I was pulling up to an intersection with a bus. Stopped right as the light turned green. I crept by this stop and all I heard was an old black dude saying, that's how the fucker took my leg. I look out my passenger window to see him with a prosthetic in his hand, sitting in a wheelchair, facing the other people at the bus stop. IDK what story they heard, but it was damned good. Forrest Gump has nothing on this dude. I never even thought of that connection. That's hilarious. Heard over a cue ball at work, you promised that we would get a divorce after you got your green card. Years ago when I lived in Orlando, I would sit on my back porch at night while my dogs went out to do their business. One late night I overheard a couple who lived behind me having an argument. I couldn't hear what the woman was saying, but I heard the man say in an agonizing tone, why can't you just set me free, Irene? I don't know why, but somehow the Irene really makes this story. I can almost hear the exasperated tone of his voice in my head. A few kids were debating on what happened to the poop after you flushed it on the train. One believed it exploded on impact with the rails, another debated the possibility of it being shot out of the side like a cannon, and another knew it was used to fuel the train. In Europe the toilets often opens directly over the train track, so that's disgusting. And not like it goes through a pipe. If you press the flush lever you can see the train tracks whizzing by if you're down into the toilet. Super bizarre. Note to self, do not walk on European train tracks. Not walking on train tracks is good advice anywhere in the world. Definition: don't wear headphones. Even without headphones, trains can kinda sneak up on you. Trains, the silent killer. Rise of the planets of the trains. Rise of the dawn of the battle of the vengeance of the return of the trains. Not something I heard, but what someone eavesdropped on me. I used to work at a restaurant, and every member of the kitchen staff was Indian and didn't speak English very well. There was one white guy that worked there, and for whatever reason, they all called him Ding Ding. White guy was having a birthday party and invited us all. One of the Indian guys and myself were standing outside the restaurant smoking, and the Indian guy says to me, Indian accent, hey man, you going to Ding Ding party? A guy walking by us stopped and said, I'm sorry, I just overheard you guys, and I have to know what a Ding Ding party is. I couldn't stop laughing and eventually told him what it was. That would be me. I would hear that and know that if I didn't ask it would bug the shit out of me forever. Knowledge is power. And then you'd look it up and not find any results. That would just make it worse. Francis Bacon. I too understood that reference. Touche. Didn't hear the full conversation, but I walked in onto employees at a convenience store with the conversation ending with the phrase, and that's when we hid the clams. This is one of the simplest stories in this thread, and yet it's the only that's made me laugh more than a chuckle. Thanks for sharing. How much is a chuckle, though? To some people it could be more or less than a snicker, or a titter, or a giggle. My friend and I tried to measure the difference once. We went downtown to a shop and decided to people watch while recording decibel levels. When we saw some friends laughing, we would casually walk by with the meter and record our findings. A group of people would occasionally notice us sticking around if they were there for a while and give us funny looks, but not wanting to spoil the research, we would just circle the block and come back. Then we noticed a patrol officer watching us. We got pretty nervous, so we went to get lunch. It was a sit-in diner near the pier. We ordered and discussed our notes so far. A giggle seemed to be more than a snicker, but still unsure about a chuckle, or titter or guffaw. We got our food and I ate mine pretty quickly. My friend is a slow eater though, so I went out for a quick smoke. When he was finished, we decided to try a new spot to listen in. We had to avoid the west part of town because there was a street performer screwing with our meter. Eventually you realized that I was just getting you to read this, and that's when we hid the clams. Chuckle, yeah got me, good one. Snicker, I got you, good one, right? Giggle, you can't be serious. Guffaw, you can't be serious. Titter, oh, I'm serious. Cackle, oh, I'm serious. Laugh, ha 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 ha. That was surprisingly perfect. Good shit. Killing time in Starbucks before my bus comes when two well-dressed businessmen walk in. Hey, crazy day yesterday. Ha. Haha, yeah. I didn't know you could train dogs to do that. It haunts me. I have so many questions that will never be answered. Honestly, it could have something to do with search and rescue training. Some of the exercises require friends, so it's possible he tagged along. It's also possible that the one guy is a handler and was called out for something while with the other guy. I think enough people know about the disturbing things someone could train a dog to do that I doubt the guy meant anything special. I'd guess it has something to do with something benign. I didn't think it was anything special. I thought it was just something silly like doing funny tricks. Summer child. Dirty liar. Funny tricks would not haunt you, you fool. At a Chinese restaurant, an old man says to his friend, I'm telling you my balls swelled up like this. Then he holds his hands apart, like he's holding a grapefruit. That legit happens. It's insane. You ever seen a bowling ball stuffed into way too tiny, scrunched up, purple leather bowling ball bag that was rolled around in sweat and dog fur? It's worse than that. Can't say I have. Thanks for silver. At this rate, I don't think I want to. Not with that attitude. Once listened to a story a woman was telling her friend sitting next to me in a cafe. She became suspicious of her husband cheating on her when she was helping him unpack from a business trip and noticed a weird white stain on his shirt. She told the whole story of her googling how to figure out what it was, which I think included using specific light and stuff. Never actually got to hear the ending though, unfortunately. Using a black light lets you see stains from human fluids. Life pro tip, don't do this in a hotel room that you want to sleep comfortably in. Knowing you shouldn't is equally as bad as seeing it. It's like playing the game. The goal is to not think about it and forget it. P.S. You lost the game. Was checking into a luxury hotel when I was younger and the people in the next room were f***ing like animals. So I keyed a bit slower than I normally would have because I had never been in this situation and I was intrigued, and then in between grunts and moans she yells, I bet your wife doesn't f*** you like this. Probably goes on every day, but I never heard something like that before or since. I've worked in hotels. I've heard all this in more one overnight shifts. I was supposed to walk the floor every couple of hours and pick up breakfast orders people left on doors. They know you can hear. They want you to hear. I worked weekend overnights for 9 months and only heard people having sex once. I was delivering folios and recognized the name of a couple I had checked in a couple hours earlier, so I knew who it was, which made the whole thing even more awkward. Imagine it was little grandma and grandpa that just wanted to talk to you about the weather while they were checking in. They were in their 60s, so that isn't a stretch. I once sat on my balcony, 3rd floor, at 2 AM to listen to a guy, ground level, who discovered his girlfriend was cheating on him. 4th floor. He climbed a tree and saw her topless with a guy with her light on. I opened a beer and took a seat. You said you were studying. You don't study with your shirt off. Is it not normal to take your shirt off while studying? I mean, I do it to go poop too, so it only seems right. Wait, girls poop? We have to go to a secret facility and no boys allowed. But yes, if you don't hear from me again, it means they know and you should run. It's been 4 minutes lads, we should run. I think they've done her in.